Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movie.
Welcome on in to The Point with Kristen Bird, presented by Dance Network and Popcorn Talk. And we are so excited you guys are joining us today because we have finally gotten one of your top 4 finalists from season 16 of So You Think You Can Dance. Sophie Pittman's here to join us. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you, even though I saw you just the other day, didn't I?
Yes.
Yes, we were at the Capizio Ace Awards. I saw you very briefly in passing.
Good.
That was a great night of choreography and dance.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Did you have a favorite piece?
I did. Noelle Marsh's literally blew me away.
That was beautiful.
I was crying.
And she won, I think she was second place.
Second place.
Yeah. And Ezra
was in it.
Ezra was in there.
He did so good.
And and Taylor Steve was in there from season 14. So I love that. And I believe Ezra was a last minute replacement too.
Really?
He kind of jumped in to rehearsals after they had already started. So
good for him.
I know. I like to hear that. I know. You're like, my teammates, my castmates are doing well. Yeah. I asked you when you walked in today, I'm like, have you wrapped your brain about what you've accomplished over the last, let's say 9 months, almost a year at this point?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, So You Think You Can Dance since last February just took over my life. And I never had that specific moment where it hit me like, oh my gosh, I'm on So You Think You Can Dance. But I mean, the whole ride and the experience was completely amazing.
Was it on your radar all along that you knew that your senior year you were age eligible and you were thinking, I'm definitely going to audition for season 16?
Funny story, actually.
Oh, tell it.
I wasn't going to audition, and my mom submitted a video of my competition solo from that season. And then I got an email for the callback. I was like, Mom, what is this? And she had submitted me, and then it just worked out.
So Hope Pittman is the one to thank?
Yes.
For you being on the show. That's pretty amazing, too, because had she not done that, you may have just missed out on the whole opportunity.
I know. I mean, because I never thought I would make it that far. So I was like, it's kind of pointless for me to audition, and boy, was I wrong.
Boy, were you wrong. You know what I think
wrong.
is interesting, too? By the time I'm there at the stage of, like, I see the LA auditionees in line and everything, and I'm there with them. And then, you know, you get into judges round, but we're still only given, like, a small select group of, like, who we see and going through. And I met you, obviously, at the top 10 when it was official, the photo shoot. But I was so curious, in your first, actually, it was your second audition because it was the judges round. People were kind of like iffy. They were like, yeah, you can go through, but we need more from you. And I was like, really? Because no one has any idea that she's top 10. That's what I'm thinking in my head.
I know.
So how did you come out of that round and think, I have to fight for this now?
I actually, on the plane home from that round, I made an entire list of like 25 things that I needed to do and accomplish going into the academy because judges round scared me so bad because I was almost cut. And so
who saved you? Do you remember now?
Nigel.
It was Nigel who saved you.
Yeah, he was like, he made me think I was going home.
He does that.
I know. And then he was like, yes, you're there. I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
So what were some of the 25 things? So you don't have to list all of them, but just give us like a little example of a few.
I was like, I need to get into like 50,000 hours of ballet. I need to go to the gym. I need to get tons of tricks. I specifically remember saying like cool ways to get into turns, cool ways to get into an aerial. I remember putting yoga on the list, working on my facials, just like a bunch of stuff that I thought would help me.
So I know that you did spend your time between Judges Round and Academy Week. You did a lot of training. So
I did.
What were you doing that you think specifically helped you make it through?
So I would wake up at 7 and I would go to school for like 2 hours. And then I would go directly to yoga at the gym with my dance teacher. And then I would go, my dad actually has a gym in his PT clinic. And
He's
I would
a physical therapist.
He's a physical therapist. And I would go work out in his gym. And then I would go straight to the studio and work on my solos and maybe have a ballet private. That was on like Wednesdays and Mondays. And that would be my day until regular dance started that afternoon.
Oh, gosh. And you still needed to finish out your competition year.
Yes.
You
recital.
were in recital. Yeah, you had your senior year. I laugh, and I've told this story a couple times, but I'm like, here I am, interviewing all of the top 10, and you're like, I still have prom. I still have, like, a show. I have graduation.
Literally.
I'm like, you have so much ahead of you, too. Like, there was just between, like, your personal life and your professional life. I was like, I'm not sure she has any idea of, like, what is ahead of her.
I had no idea going into it. Like, Yeah, no idea. Absolutely none.
You were saying, too, like, you really had to squeeze in school to finish as well.
Yes, no, my school kind of hated me because, I mean, I just had to get through math and English for the rest of my senior year, and they did not like that. But I figured it out, and I made it work because they ended up realizing that my dreams were so important to me, and they supported me.
That's good. I'm glad that everyone was able to kind of come to an agreement on that, because not being able to walk with your class, I don't necessarily know if everyone thinks like high school graduation in the moment is a big deal, but I now look back on it and go, oh, I know it was a big deal for my parents and my family and all my friends that were supporting me, and I'm glad you got to walk with your class.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been so sad looking back if I didn't get to graduate, like, and walk across that stage and shake the hand of my principal. Like, that would have been so sad.
It would have been really sad. And then what are you going to do? Like, get your diploma in the summer after finishing class? What
yeah,
that,
exactly.
You know? It's so anticlimactic. You're like, I've worked 18 years for this to get to this point. Academy Week is a roller coaster for everyone. I know a lot of people have breakdowns, as I actually think you should, because I think it's like a release of emotions. Because otherwise, if you're going to have a horrible final round if you don't. What was the round that you felt like was so really challenged you as a dancer, and what round did you feel like, oh, this was a breeze, I got it?
I mean, yeah, if you watch the show, you could probably answer this for me. The hip-hop round was, like, definitely my best round because no one really knew that side of me. No one knew I could hip-hop. And so I was able to show strength.
And Luther Brown.
Yes, literally,
So
Luther
good.
Brown. He actually trained my dance teacher at Monsters. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, hip-hop was great. Hip-hop went great for me. And then ballroom was obviously the hardest. I had not trained in it. Well, I had taken, like, a couple lessons leading up to Academy, but it definitely was the hardest. And I got paired with a hip-hopper, which was definitely difficult because neither of us really knew what we were doing. But then they repaired me with Vlad, and that went so much better.
Vlad Kvartin is probably one of the best technicians out there in his age group. He's incredible. And I think, too, what I thought was really interesting, because Talia Favia did the contemporary round. It wasn't Travis Wall this year. Yeah. She killed you guys. I was getting phone calls that night after the round happened, and people were like, I got cut. And I'm like, you're a contemporary dancer. But they were like, Talia's piece was so challenging, a lot of floor work. If you haven't worked with her before, you're just not expecting it.
Literally, yeah. So for like that round, it was definitely challenging. I was so thankful I'd worked with her before and knew what to expect and the physicality, because it's not really like the fluid dancing where you can just move through. You have to be able to like be sharp, but also like power through things, and that definitely takes experience with her work.
Yeah, they took a lot of people out that round. I felt like half the group was gone after contemporary. I'm like, holy cow. And one of the conventions was actually happening next door to where you guys were staying, or in their ballroom. And I happened to be in the lobby, and people were just like walking out with tears. And I was like, oh. And I was there for the convention. I wasn't like stalking to see if you guys made it or not. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't hang out in the lobby too long, because now I'm just like starting to see people I know going, uh-oh.
Yeah, it was really sad. I lost a lot of my friends that week.
That's a hard one. And it's hard because it's like you're excited for, that you've made it through the next round, but you're sad to see your support system go.
Yes.
And then you have to stay focused of like, okay, great, I just have to compete against myself and not worry about anything else.
Yeah, I had like a whole friend group, and it was just so sad like watching them go like one by one. It was like, that was honestly the hardest part for me during Academy Week. Because, like once you get cut, they send you home right away. Like you can't stay the rest of the week.
You pack up and you go home that night usually, if it's not too late.
Yeah, it was
or
really
the next morning. It's really hard. I know. I ran into one contestant who just tear-stained cheeks, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And then I was like, do you need a hug? Like, I didn't know what else to do, and I didn't plan on running into them, and they were like, yes. I'm like, okay, just cry. It's okay. I'm like, I'm going to cry. I feel sad for you. What is that moment when they tell you? I mean, do you know what was going through your head when they're like, you are a part of our top 10?
Well, since I wasn't like, I think I was 4th to make the top 10. Or the top 5 girls.
Top 5 girls, yeah.
And so like hearing these names be listed off one by one, I was like, oh my gosh, it's getting smaller. And I was looking at the people left, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to make it.
Do you start counting like, okay, we have X amount of contemporary dancers on because you guys were contemporary heavy this year too.
Yes.
So
especially since out of the top 10 girls, there were 5 ballroom girls. I was like, they're really looking for ballroom this season. I'm going to get cut. because Mariah had already made it, so she was a contemporary dancer. And then Madison was left, and she's phenomenal, so I was like, she's making it.
Right.
So I thought I was going to get cut.
And then they tell you you're in.
Yes. I was like, thank goodness. I started crying. The usual.
What is it? Well, I'd be crying too. I mean, what's that phone call home like? Because I'm sure your parents are waiting by the phone, totally dying.
Yes.
Like, when is she going to call us? I did have, and this is legit, like some parents that their kids were in the top 20 are like DMing me, like, have you heard anything? I'm like, I have not heard anything. I do not know.
Yeah.
You know, or I'd be like, oh, I heard, blah, blah, blah. You know, it was, but people are so stressed out. The parents are just as stressed out as you guys.
Yeah, I specifically remember, like, I went to the bathroom after we did, like, the interviews and everything after we found out, and FaceTime my parents, and, like, I was bawling, crying because I was so happy, but they thought I was sad, and I couldn't get the words out, so they were like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I was like, I made it. And
they're like,
what? Oh, did I hear you right?
Wait,
Yeah.
what was that?
Because I looked sad, but it was like happy tears.
Yeah, and it's a week of stress too, and probably just like the release of like
Yes.
everything that I put into this moment. Finally, you know, it all
Yes.
came together, which
Yes.
is incredible. And then you guys get the most amazing next day of like photo shoots, and the press is there.
That was so fun.
It's really fun. It's fun for us too. I don't know
so
if you guys know that,
cool.
because we're like. It's fun for us because oftentimes there are people who you know have tried over and over again to get on the show, and you know that finally that their year is here. So I'm always excited for them. And then it's also exciting to see fresh faces, people we weren't necessarily expecting, because that adds a different element to the season too. It can't always be like this person's auditioned 5 times and now they're finally on the show. It's kind of nice to have that mix.
Yeah. I mean, that day was so cool. Like, having people do my hair and having people do my makeup, I was like, what is happening? And, like, having outfits for us, that was so cool.
Yeah, and you guys were all in white.
Yes.
And actually, Jeff, if you pull it up, I think I have a photo of Sophie and I for that was the video right there.
Aww.
There's the two of us, our very first meeting. It's so interesting to me because, you know, I have a history with like Eddie Hoyt, I knew very well from last season, and the Sosas, of course, you know, and then it's like seeing you guys, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, now this is a totally different element of like what to ask, because, you know, the other ones, I'm like, Stephanie and Eddie were there in top 20 the year before, so I'm like, you know, what did you learn last year to this year? Like, what got you here the second time around that didn't necessarily work the first time around? Where when you guys make it on the first time, it's a big deal.
It's really cool.
It's hard to do.
It's really cool.
It's hard to do. Going over the summer, it's a fast 6 weeks. Even for me.
Yes.
And what are some of the highlights that you still think about every once in a while? God, that was a good week, or that was a good number, or that was just a good moment.
I'd say my favorite week was probably the first one, just because it was so, like, it was new and we were so excited. Not to say I wasn't excited towards the end. But
Right. There's no stress or pressure that week.
And no one's getting cut the first week, and we were all so happy, and we were all living together and getting to know each other, and I think it was really cool.
I always dread the second week, and that's exactly why, because it's the first cut, and everyone's joy from the first week, which is like takes up the entire studio. You feel it, like the tension, and I'm always like, oh gosh, we're gonna see tears and crying and everything else. It's hard. The first week, you and Eddie Hoyt were paired up, and I think you guys had the hardest number.
It was very difficult.
Sushi, which her color. There's you and Eddie, and you guys had a Brian Friedman number, and Brian Friedman to me is kind of like a week 4 kind of choreographer, because like you guys just have to be in it. You have to be super stylized. Where I think sometimes it's easier just to get like a really pretty contemporary number and be like, okay, great, I got through the first week.
Yes.
When I saw that Brian Friedman was on, I was like, oh, he's gonna challenge these people big time.
It was hard. Learning it was hard. Partnering with a new person was hard. I've done Brian Friedman's work a lot in the past, but doing it with a partner is completely different than just taking a class. Like, it's so much harder, and like, not only do you just have to like execute the moves, you have to execute the story. So combining those two things was challenging, for sure.
And that's a good lesson to kind of take with you moving forward too, where you're like, I probably had one of the most challenging numbers in week 1.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else that comes your way, you're probably like, I got this.
Yes, the prop, the costume, the choreography, the story.
Interacting with your partner, realizing that you want to work together as a team as much as possible
Yes.
too, because that's really important.
Yes.
And then
For sure.
you walk into week 2, and I believe you guys had Travis Wall, right?
We did. Oh, it was so good.
That's like a dream come true. Like being on So You Think, getting Travis Wall and doing one of his amazing contemporary numbers. And he only was there for 2 weeks, so
I know, and I had him both times.
I know, so good. And I love that you guys also got to do. Girls had a number with him, but also
Yes.
that incredible Enough piece
Oh my gosh.
about gun control.
Definitely a favorite.
I will say that I saw that in studio. I had like the hair on my arms was standing up. I had
Really?
goosebumps. Yeah, that first time I saw it. But even on tour, still really sharp and really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've got to
Yeah.
imagine for you guys, because you guys are of a generation where active shooter drills are actually a real thing.
Yes, they are.
I mean, when I grew up, it was like a fire drill. It's totally different.
I know. Yeah, Eddie was telling me a story about how they have like school shooter drills at his place, like, and they have like dogs and everything. They have to make it so realistic, and it's just so scary, the society we live in. And I'm so glad that we got to share that through dance, and the amount of people who watch So You Think You Can Dance and were changed by that. I think it's really phenomenal.
Yeah, it was done in a very beautiful way, because I think that can be a very political issue, but it didn't feel political. It
Yes.
it felt like this is what we're feeling through movement. Let's just give it some thought. Maybe let's give it some discussion without everyone taking sides.
Yes, and Travis got us really into the story. He sat us down and he talked to us, and we all started crying because we needed to portray that emotion in order to make it not so political and make it
Right.
from the heart, so that people could, see through it and not feel like it's, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do, and I know that even for Travis, and he and I had talked about this. He said, I've wanted to do this piece for a while, and there's always discussions when you're doing something that has a heavy topic, and they were just like, not now, not now, and then they finally were like, this is the season to do it.
Yes.
It's all about timing. It's all about how you phrase it and the approach you're taking to it, and making every side, I think, feel heard. Maybe.
For sure, especially since recently, I mean, there's just been shooting after shooting after shooting, and I think this season was definitely the season to do that, since we are so young, like the cast was so young. I think it really touched a lot of people.
I definitely, trust me, I'm like, I saw that and I was like, it just takes your breath away when you see it. I also thought we had Casey Money here just probably in December before the year ended. And, he talked a lot about what a big deal it was for him to have his very first piece on the show. And you had just been partnered up with Gino because Eddie had been voted off the show. And what was that like working with him? Because this piece is probably one of the signature pieces of season 16.
Yes. Going into it, I didn't know Casey. And actually, he brought an assistant who I had known from the academy, so that was really great.
Who was his assistant? Uh-oh. You can't remember.
She's on Dancing with the Stars.
Morgan. Did he bring in Morgan Larson?
No.
Did he bring in Britt Stewart?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Britt.
I was like, did he bring in Britt
I
Stewart?
hope she doesn't watch this.
She's okay. No, but it's good to know, just so people know. So Britt Stewart, and she is incredible. So and they're good friends. So
Yes. So that was. I felt so comfortable with her being there. And yeah, when he originally told us the story, I was like, wow. And then he told us it was his story
of coming out.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then he read us the letter, and we all started crying, and it was just such a moment.
And you're portraying his mother in
yes.
this.
I've actually never done a dance where I played a mother, so it was really cool for me, very different, and I'm just so glad I got to tell his story. That was so special for me.
Yeah, it was a really special piece, and I just love that it meant so much, I think, to Casey and have it come off so well, too, because there's a lot of pressure when you're a new choreographer to deliver.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know this, but they had been working on this piece for 18 months. They
Really?
had workshopped it, yes.
Oh, wow.
And it's really a fascinating story too. And he had brought it, and Jeff and Robert and Mandy worked with him on it, and they just didn't have the right piece of music. And then when the Dear Evan Hansen piece sort of came up, he was like, "This is the right." He's like, "This is the right song." It really was, and I think that's why when everything comes together, they were like, yes, this is
Yes.
ready. This is ready for So
Yes.
You Think.
And so many people love that show, and so many people love that music specifically. So I think it was so perfect to tell his story with that song.
Yeah, and I think the show too has gotten really good about talking about LGBTQ stories. So I think that was an important one to share. So I
Yes.
just want you to know that like this piece meant so much to Casey.
It meant so much to me.
Good.
I still text him.
He's the
Like,
best.
Yes, he is so great.
And you guys got to do it on tour as well. So.
Yes, every night.
Yes. And if you haven't seen the Casey Money episode, I'll link to it in the comments so you guys can have it. But you have to find out about that table because the table went on tour with you guys.
It did.
But it actually has a long story to it. So it's really kind of funny.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
I need to go watch that.
You do. It's a good one. It's a really good one. And I'm like, I love that there's a tale of your table and the journey that it took.
Yeah.
So that was pretty amazing. But they did send it out on tour, and it was reinforced for you guys to jump all over it in tour too.
Yes, Gino
was an
definitely
IKEA.
jumped everywhere, all over.
Yep,
it.
that was it. What was the magic with you and Gino? Because I think when the two of you got together, it was like, okay, I really feel a comfort level here.
Yeah. Sorry. Going into it, we were really good friends, and then, like, we met at Academy.
Okay. You didn't know each other from competition or
No.
convention circuit. Okay.
We had so many friends in common though, so we kind of clicked really fast. And I don't know, me and him just have very similar interests and a very similar style, so we connect very easily. And then when we were put to dance together, it just kind of was like magic.
Yeah, sometimes it's
Yeah.
just like the chemistry is there
Yeah.
on stage. And the show tried to pull out a showmance with you guys. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness, I know.
I know, and I'd be like, but
Not
I see
happening.
Gino with his girlfriend at Mixology, like after the show.
Exactly.
I know, and I was like, stop it, because I felt bad for his girlfriend. I'd see him her in the audience, and then I'd see him out at dinner. I'm like,
I know, they were trying so hard to get us to be a little couple there.
a little showmance. They love a good little showmance, but
And I have a boyfriend too. I just kept him a little bit of a secret, but
Oh, you did.
Yes.
It's probably easier to do that too, I think.
I didn't want them to like be like, "Who's your boyfriend? Can't bring him to the show."
Yeah, and then the fans start like searching for him on Instagram, you
Yeah.
know, and that kind of thing. And sometimes
Yes.
they don't want the attention.
Yeah, no, he definitely would.
Did he make it out to the show at all?
No, he couldn't. College calls, but
Oh yeah, because everyone goes back to school in August,
Yes,
don't they? And he had to
yes.
go off to school. All right, fair enough. That is fair.
yes, he had a watch party every Monday though.
Oh, he
For
did.
me, yes.
And everyone was like texting and voting.
Yes.
You had a great support system. I sat near your family quite a bit over the 6 weeks.
Really?
Yes.
Aw.
Yep. Everyone had
Very
their T-shirts. I mean, there was like the Bale Rock team, all the Team Pittmans, and I mean, it was the Sosa siblings. There was a lot going on this year with all the parents, which was great. But
Yeah,
and your
it's
little
so cute.
sister
Oh my
is
goodness.
super cute.
I miss her so much.
How old is she now?
11, I believe.
11. This must have been a fun summer for her.
It was. She was so excited for me. It was the cutest thing ever.
Yeah. So it was always fun seeing the parents in the audience. I mean, what was their support like for such a stressful situation?
So great. It was so great. My mom came to like every show. My dad came to as many as he can with work and everything. When I saw my dad at the first show he came to, I was like crying. Like, I'm pretty sure they got it on camera. But yeah, it was so exciting. And knowing they were having watch parties for me at home, well, on the big like jumbotron, it was so cute.
That's great. And your dance teacher, I know I met her as well. She was in the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah.
Yes.
She came to some.
Yeah, she came to a 2 or 3, I think. I feel like
Yeah.
I was always sitting right around that little bit.
They all look like me.
They do. Everyone was blonde.
Welcome to the South.
I'm like, everyone was blonde in that row. And I was like, oh, those are the Pittmans. Like, you totally knew,
Yeah.
like, right off the bat, which was always a lot of fun. But I feel like in the last 3 or 4 seasons, the parents have really gotten into it and doing the T-shirts and the hats and signs and everything else. And I think it's a blast to watch, too.
It's so fun to see like my name on a T-shirt. It's so crazy to me.
And the families, I will say that there's not a huge rivalry. Honestly, people trade T-shirts. Like,
Oh,
they'll be
yeah.
like, yeah, like, keep supporting.
Mariah actually posted a dance video the other day in a Team Bailey shirt. Did she? Yeah.
The Bale Rock. I love
Yeah.
that. That's amazing. Yeah, you and Mariah are you still best buddies? Because I know you guys were
Yes.
really close during the show.
Yes, we just took a class together yesterday, I believe.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Oh, I love that. And, you know, what was her, I mean, because I get into that top 4. The pressure's on. You guys have a lot of numbers to do. Your body's hurt. You're tired.
Oh my gosh, yes.
How did you sort of like root each other on through those last couple weeks?
I mean, after we would get home from rehearsals, we would just hang out all night. We would make funny videos. We would make some cookies. It just made us feel more human.
Normal?
I guess. Yeah, more normal. And it was so nice to have a best friend there. Like, if I had just strictly competition, I think I might have gone crazy. She was definitely my rock throughout that whole show.
It's important.
Yes.
And continued on through tour, because I know tour is...
Yes.
Tour is a blast, but tour is long, too, at the same time.
It's long. It's stressful. It's close quarters.
It's very close quarters. And you guys had, I mean, you had nights where Gino was out for the latter half of the tour.
Yes.
There was a night that Bailey was out and Gino was out. And I don't know
Oh, my gosh.
how you guys got through that Midland, Texas show.
We had 7 hours of tech that day. Like, just craziness. Poor Bailey. Yeah, that was a scary show. We were like just this the whole time.
How did you alter the show? Did you have to take some numbers out? Did other people step in?
Yes, Cyrus stepped in for Bailey for 2 of Mariah's duets, so that was kind of funny. Eddie stepped in for 1, and we just fixed all the group formations, and that was it.
Yeah, and obviously Bailey solos were not in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Bailey solo was out.
Yeah, in the beginning of, I don't remember if you remember the spotlights in This Is Me.
Yep.
But Bailey's was just like a blank hold. And we're just like,
You're like, this is where the season 16 winner should be, but he's injured tonight. So I'm glad he was able to finish the tour, though, because had you had Gino and Bailey out, that would have been tough.
Yeah, that would have been
Because it's also, I don't think people realize, too, like, then there's a lot of stress on you, all 8 of you at that point, then, to
Yes.
deliver. And then you're also having to be... Because at this point, it was later in the tour, too. Your bodies are like, I know exactly where to be. I know how to do this. And now all of a sudden, you have to be, like, sharp as attack, like thinking, what's my next move? Where do I have to adjust in a group number?
Lauren and Cyrus were saying how, like, by halfway, we'll be completely adjusted. The show will feel easy. We just wake up, do our stuff, and go to sleep. And halfway, Gino left, and that is not the case. So it was a struggle bus.
It was a struggle bus. But you guys made it through, because I saw you guys in Thousand Oaks, which was, I want to say, like December 1st, somewhere around there. So it was on the real tail end of the tour, but you guys look great. So
Thank you.
Yeah, it was good to see. I always like to go to the tour and just see where you guys are. It's fun. It is really fun. And that's kind of like your treat for having to go through like 6 weeks.
I can't wait to go next year.
I know, and watch.
Season. That's going to be so fun.
I know. We haven't had official season 17 pickup yet, but we're thinking positively. Here's my thought. I feel like an announcement's going to happen any day now. I'm just throwing that out there.
I really hope so.
Yes. I'm just throwing that out there.
I have so many friends who want to audition.
Yeah, and they've collected video auditions, so they're already,
Yes.
I know Nigel said to me, last year they were kind of like caught with their pants down in terms of like the pickup came and they hadn't done the video submissions yet, and so they started the video submissions early this year so that when, I'm going to say when, not if, Fox picks them up, they're like ready to go and they can schedule the cities and off they go.
I'm so excited because I remember like I'd be in the rehearsals at CBS and like Genesee came in to watch and Hannah Leigh came, and I just can't wait to do that next year.
Yeah, you're like, I'm an alum of the show. You're So You Think You Can Dance family.
Yes, that's like, it was so fun doing Rudy's show this past weekend because JJ was in it and Rudy was like the choreographer. I was like, So You Think fam.
It is. It's really such a big deal. And we should talk about that because you were at Move at the Montalban and Rudy's show. He has embodiment and radiance going, which is incredible. And if you're not keeping your eye on what Rudy Abreu is doing, do it, because I really do think he's one of the biggest rising choreographers. And I keep on going to him, you're only 24? You're only 24? And he's like,
I know,
yes.
it's crazy.
It's crazy what he's accomplished since he was on season 11, which feels like a million years ago. And I'm like, gosh, you were 18 when I was covering you, and now you're 24. And now you're headlining a show. You've already danced with J-Lo. I mean...
I know. Good for him. I'll be in his carnival show on Wednesday.
Oh, you are? That's great.
Yes.
So what is it like working with Rudy, the choreographer?
Oh, my goodness. He's crazy. But, like, not a bad crazy.
No,
he's hilarious.
A creative crazy.
Yes. He's, like, he just creates in the moment and just goes with his gut. And it's just so inspiring to watch someone create like that because, like, I know, like, when I choreograph, I don't choreograph a lot, but, like, I just want to come in, like, prepared So, like, seeing someone do that is so inspirational. I'm like, I need to try that.
Yeah, I think he kind of comes from the Travis Wall school where, like, they go into the studio and they start choreographing.
Yeah, Travis does that.
Yeah, and they're both pretty genius about it.
Yes.
So, how would you describe Rudy's movement on your body? Like, you know what I mean? How does it feel as a dancer?
It's kind of like a mix between, like, Tassandra Chavez and, like, Travis Wall, kind of.
Ooh, I like it.
Because there's so many, like, he does so many different things. Like, there was, like, a duet in his show where it was just, like, silky and, like, intricate, like, partnering. And then there's these parts where it's, like, 1E and a 2E and a...
He does a sharp staccato movement.
Yes.
Which we're showing a little bit of, like, up here, which is very Rudy.
Yes, and it's always so full out. Like, if you mark it, you won't get it. So...
Yeah, so
there's
in rehearsal, you have to be 100% then.
Yes, always.
Yeah, because if you're marking it, you're going to get lost, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. He also teaches really fast.
Yeah, well, I always find that his a lot of his pieces are really jam-packed with movement. Like, he doesn't waste a count.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably struggle in his class, honestly. Like,
I was struggling.
I was gonna say, like, just like looking at that and thinking about, like, when I was dancing professionally, I'm like, I probably would have had a lot of struggles. with that.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to just be at home, like, record the whole thing, and then at home every single night, rehearsing it over and over, so my body could get it.
Every and count, but it's also super full out, so it's like extra tough.
Yeah, and I'm such a 5, 6, 7, 8 dancer. I'm not an and dancer or like syncopated rhythm.
Funny.
It's why I'm terrible at tap. I'm like, oh God.
Oh my gosh, I stopped tapping a while ago.
And now everyone's like, tap is back. I'm like, oh God, maybe I should get in tap class just for fun.
I need to.
Yeah, it's a good skill to have, honestly. It really is. So since you've gotten off tour and then you jumped right into Rudy's piece and company, what do you think, what do you want to do? Have you thought about, those goals this year and, what you want to accomplish in 2020?
Yes. So, I mean, right now on the weekends, I'm traveling with RADIX Dance Convention, assisting Eddie Strachan, which is pretty fun.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, I just signed with my agent, and I'm planning to...
Go to Talent Agency.
Lisa.
We love Lisa and Terry over there.
Yes. So, I'm planning to just get out there and get to auditions and hopefully book some gigs.
Do you have a dream gig? Because I always like to ask, because sometimes people want to get right into the commercial work. Other people want to do the world tour with a major artist. I mean, I'm sure any job is a great job when you're just starting out, but is there a number one, eventually I want to make sure I have done this?
Yeah. Well, my original dream was to go on tour, and then I did that with So You Think You Can Dance. So now... I'm not my dream isn't really anymore to tour with an artist. It'd be more to dance. I love dancing on TV. So I want to dance on TV again, maybe not with a TV dance show, but dancing maybe background on a Disney show or maybe
a scripted show.
Yeah, something fun, something cute. I don't know.
There's a lot of opportunities now with scripted too. It's I've talked a lot about this, the trend, because things trend, and for a while everything's reality competition, but the trend now is for dance within scripted shows.
Yes.
If you take a look, Mandy Moore is doing NBC's Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Yeah, that's so cool.
NBC gave me 4 episodes, and it's amazing. It's
really
amazing to see how you can take a story and add dance into it without it being distracting, okay, now here's a dance number. It's actually just it meshes together so well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, Step Up and Fame. I miss stuff like that.
I know.
Bring dance back into TV.
But I think we're going to get a lot of that too, because you have West Side Story coming back to theaters.
Yes.
You have In the Heights in June. I feel like we're going to get a big push after all of these big projects come out in 2020, and then everyone will be like, oh, we need to have more dance.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
That would be incredible. And I know that you said, you were thinking about studying acting as well, just to add another layer.
Yeah, that's what my thing is. I think it'd be so cool to do a dance movie like Step Up or something where you're acting and you're also doing what you love. So and I don't know, that TV experience for me just kind of opened a new light for me. And I think acting would be really fun to get into, and then also using dance from my back pocket.
Well, I've had so many choreographers sit in your chair that you're sitting in today, and they always say, our best dancers are the ones who study acting because they're able to add that into their piece. And if you're asking them to do something like so completely outside of their comfort zone, they do have something to tap into because they've studied acting and studied scripts and understanding where that emotion comes from. Because at 18, you've got 18 years of experience. You don't have 50 years of life experience.
Exactly.
So it has to come from somewhere.
Like doing the gun violence piece. Like, I've never been in a mass shooting, and I have to make that emotion so realistic. And you can't draw that from a mass shooting because you've never been it. So where are you going to draw it from?
That's right.
Exactly. So you have to, that's where the acting part comes in. And I think acting and dance are so related and intertwined. And it's so good to study both.
It really is. And I will say, I've heard it from more than one choreographer. So I'm always like, acting is a good thing, everyone.
Yes.
Do you sing? Because you did some, you're like, oh. But you did some great Broadway and classic jazz pieces with Jonathan Redivid and Warren Carlyle. Warren Carlyle is not easy as a choreographer.
Oh, it was so hard.
Stuff is so hard.
Like, it doesn't look that hard, and then you try it, and it's so hard.
So hard. And I talked to Warren before you guys did the number, and he's like, they had a hard time with this and a hard rehearsal, and you guys got on stage and like nailed it. And he was like, oh my God, it was all there.
Aww.
But you know, it's just like sometimes you just need to get out and perform it.
Yeah.
Because you and Gino had it.
Yeah. I mean, I could carry a tune if I tried. I'm very shy about singing. I could probably get into some lessons.
Yeah.
Because I've always heard that you can train your voice. Like, it's another muscle. So you can train it to be beautiful, or you can just leave it
Work
alone.
from that diaphragm. It is a muscle that you need to exercise and everything else. But I was like, you did some really great sort of like theater jazz type of pieces on the show.
Broadway.
Yeah, a little Broadway. Why not? Because there's so much happening too. There's so many opportunities with that as well.
Yes.
Yep. But just gotta be able to sing and live musicals too.
I know, like Ariel, The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Well, ABC is doing. Young Frankenstein is their next live musical.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and NBC said they're going to do another musical. They're not sure what it is yet, but oftentimes they do film out here. So always good to like Britt Stewart. She
was in it.
Yeah, she did Little Mermaid live. So she was like singing up there and dancing. She said it was great.
Yeah,
So.
watching that was so cool. I was like, I know that person, I know that person, I know that person.
And Kayla Radomski was in it.
Melanie. Marco.
Yep. Jason Glover. Like there's a lot of people that you go, they work a lot. So I'm always like, whatever they're doing is working because people are hiring them over and over again.
Yes.
Did you have a favorite, so you think, contestant growing up when you watched the show?
Yes. Lauren.
And then you get to work
Frody.
with her.
Yeah, it was so, like, seeing, and Cyrus, honestly, like, it was, well, Lauren and Kent were my favorite. I honestly wanted them to date.
I love
Obviously,
Kent Boy. That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
But they're still good friends, which is great.
Yeah. When I was little, that was just like, I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, definitely them too. That was like my favorite season ever. I still remember Lauren's dance, like, to that cowboy dance, like, my chick bad, my chick. You remember, do you remember that dance? Oh my gosh, that was my favorite dance when I was little ever.
I love it. And then it's a little surreal. I've got to imagine then sharing the stage with Lauren all these years later.
Yes, it's so, like, when I saw her in person for the first time, I was like
starstruck. Yeah.
Starstruck. Yes. I was like, whoa, she's actually here. But now, like, we're, like, friends now.
Of course.
So.
You spent months on the road
Yes.
together, so you're like, it's all good. But it is kind of a big deal when you think about it. You're watching, like, little tiny Sophie's watching Lauren Ferdinand, not realizing that, she was, season 7 to season 16? So, like,
Yes.
9 years later, you're sharing a stage with her.
Yes. I remember watching, like, my family used to have, like, a trailer, like, an RV trailer. And we watched on that little TV in there, So You Think You Can Dance, with our generator giving us electricity. Watching So You Think You Can Dance at the trailer park. That's the most redneck thing I could have said.
No, it's great, though. It's a great memory.
Yeah, it's one of my specific memories.
You'll always have it, too, which is great. How about choreographer-wise? Who do you feel like really nurtured your career, really helped you set on a path where you can make this a profession?
I think Travis Wall, Ray Leeper, and Brian Friedman were the biggest inspirations for me. Mm-hmm. On the show specifically, just because they're so experienced in this industry and so helpful. Ray's in the convention circuit too, so I see him.
We had him here last week, so go watch the episode, you guys.
Travis, I mean, he's hiring, like, people all the time for things. And then Brian just has experience everywhere under his belt. I think
he's working on a new dance show too, by the way. Oh no, it's for just so you guys know, there's a new dance show coming called Floored, and it's on Quibi. Quibi's going to be a mobile platform, so you'll probably see it on IGTV. But he's working on it, so just and it's a competition show. So we want to hear this because it's really kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So you have to be like a team of like 3 or 4 dancers, I think. And then the floor, like you have a pre-rehearsed routine that you come in with, but the floor like tilts and shakes and I know and moves around.
Oh gosh.
And then obstacles are thrown at you. It's kind of like Truth or Dare. No, is it Double Dare on Nickelodeon where they used to like obstacle courses? It's kind of like that for dance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That'd be so hard. Imagine being in a turn sequence and like something's being thrown at you.
Or like the floor just
This sort of
drops
tilts
and you're turning. I don't know. They're going to have to find a way to avoid injury, but I'm sure that they have rehearsal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're starting to film, I think, next week. So
That sounds fun.
kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
But Brian's the perfect person for that.
Yeah.
He'll love it.
He's
So.
going to be like, tilt jump right
You're
over
like,
the
"What?
obstacle.
How do I do this? Oh, and I promised I was going to tell you the Sophie Sparkles story.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, your Instagram handle is Sophie Sparkles.
Yes.
So, I was talking with Doriana Sanchez after we had met all of you, and she said that you had come up to her. I don't know if you remember this. At some
do.
point. Okay. I don't know if I should tell this part of the story or you should, but you guys were at the same convention together. You knew that she was on So You Think.
Yes.
And you asked her for like some insight or some tips for auditioning.
I did. Isn't that crazy?
I
Everything
think that's
comes full
really
circle.
smart.
It was so, I was like, it was in Memphis. Like, no conventions come to Memphis, and it's called Kinetics. And it came to Memphis, and I was like, I'll go, I guess. I went, and she was on faculty, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to talk to her because I'm auditioning. I didn't know anything at the time. I hadn't gotten my call back for Judges Round or anything. So I just asked her for advice, and then...
Do you remember what she told you? Did she like... Because I think always people are like, be yourself, which is actually some of the best advice for So You Think. Because
What did she tell me?
I don't know what she told you.
I don't remember.
I
It
don't
was
know.
probably amazing advice. I know I took it, and she like texted me like she's so cute. She sends all these emojis when
She sends
texts.
hearts and
Sparkles and like
little. She does. I have like a
So
whole.
cute.
She is. She's like everyone's dance mom. Honestly, she's like
Literally.
my dance mom too. But I went to the top 10, and she texted me, and she goes, "Who did you meet?" And I go, Sophie Sparkles that you follow, and she goes, Sophie Sparkles made it. She was so excited. We didn't even use your last name, but we always, when we talk about you, it's Sophie Sparkles.
that's so cute. She's the best.
She is the best. She is amazing, and she's got an amazing dance story. Look, I'm pitching every episode we've ever done, but she was on. But just, I think yesterday, she celebrated her 9th anniversary of being brain cancer free. She had an incredible
wow.
journey, and she's been Cher's choreographer for a gazillion years, and Cher like nursed her back to health after her surgery.
Wow.
And it's an incredible story of like how like Cher like had her move into her house and took care of her.
Work.
I know, isn't that crazy? You're like Cher is like your nurse. It's a great episode, and she of course was in Dirty Dancing too, so she's
Yeah.
got great memories of.
That's so cool.
doing. I know. Every time the polka dot dress passes on screen, my husband's like, "There's Dory, there's Dory."
Like that's something I want to do so bad. Like Doriana was in Dirty Dancing, and Tina Caspery was in, what's it called? Do you know what I'm talking about? That movie with the guy from Grey's Anatomy.
The guy from Grey's which
Derek.
Patrick
Patrick's-
Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey.
Can't Buy Me Love.
Yes, Can't Buy Me Love.
Well, he does that crazy dance. Yeah, that's a really good one at the school dance, and everyone copies it.
Yeah.
It's a good dance scene, you guys. And I'm trying to remember. I feel like Marguerite Derrick's choreographed that.
Oh, work.
Yeah, I know. She's choreographed like everything that's iconic. So, but yeah. So I mean, like, there's so many good like dance stories and dance history. So I'm always like, talk to your teachers, talk to your choreographers, because they've got incredible stories of what they've done. And I think sometimes we
Seriously.
forget to ask. Like, I get the opportunity to ask everyone sitting here, but I think sometimes, like, I'm like, you know, if you have 5 minutes with someone, I'd be like, tell me a Dirty Dancing story. I do it to Dory all the time. Like, when we hang out, I'm like, tell me a story.
I can't believe she met Patrick Swayze.
I know.
He's beautiful.
He is beautiful. And such a sad loss, too, because I think it was just 10 years last year. So it's been gone too long.
Was beautiful.
I know. And his story is incredible. I think a couple of Paramount Network did an amazing documentary on Patrick Swayze. I almost said Dempsey. Patrick Swayze and his dance career. And it's all these different stories and like how his mother influenced him and how his wife influenced him. And it's so cool.
Wow.
So if you guys see it, it's on Paramount Network, which is kind of random, but it's out there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, Sophie Sparkles, believe it or not, our hour's up.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That was quick.
It was so quick. I'm so glad we got to do this, though.
Me too. It was so fun.
I know. Now that everyone probably knows your Instagram account if they're not already following you, but just remind everyone. The camera over there.
At Sophie_Sparkles.
Excellent. Please come back anytime. Please keep us, updated on what's happening. Doors always open, chairs always open.
Okay.
All right, sound good?
Yes.
All
thank
right.
you so much.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us this episode of To The Point. We'll be back with a fresh new episode, someone from World of Dance next week. So we'll see you all then. Big thanks to Dance Network and Popcorn Talk. And remember, for all of your dance news, check out dancenetwork.tv.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.